His older brother has made a big name for himself in the MMA world. Now the big little brother is making his own mark. Mohammed the Motor Usman is 7-1 in the heavyweight division, winning his past 4 fights in Titan FC in South Florida. With his engine revving, his next battle will be in the Professional Fighters League. Thank you, the Motor Usman. What were the deciding factors to sign with PFL?
Ultimately, I went ahead and signed with PFL. First, thank you for having me. And second of all, I ultimately signed with the PFL because they just came with the most money. And that's the honest to God truth. At the end of the day, this game we do, it's about fighting, it's about making money. And you can't. It's only a short window. So I went with the best fit for me and my family.
Were Bellator and UFC on the table with offers?
Yes, they were.
What were your thoughts of Bellator and UFC?
Bellator and UFC, of course, they're great organizations, but they think that's in high demand. They tend to take advantage of people. And Bellator came up to me when I was 3-0. So I'm very familiar with Bellator. And then the UFC came, but the UFC is such in high demand that the number that we come with isn't the number that a lot of people like, but a lot of people jump on it because it's just an opportunity to fight in the UFC. But I've been around it for a long time, and I just went ahead and went with the best bet for me and my family.
You were honest. You said it was a money decision for you. They made the better offer. I'm also wondering this. I will ask this anyway. Cameron is a top fighter in UFC, a champion. Did you have any thoughts of fighting elsewhere just because he was already there and established himself there? You wanted to fight elsewhere? Or no, it was strictly with the money?
No. That actually played a role in it as well, because it's not even about the UFC. It's just about, making our legacy in the sport. And my brother has really came and did what he had to do in the UFC. So why not me come in and merge it in from a different angle? So I said, why not go win a PFL championship? And then I can bring that to the table.
Did you get any advice from your brother about UFC?
Yes, I did.
How about other groups like PFL? Did you get any advice from others, whether it be your brother or anyone else, about PFL?
Yes, I talked to guys like Rashawn Evans. He's a bench-top mentor. Tyrone Spawn. The guys the older guys that I've always looked to for advice when I first started fighting and doing this profession.
Mohammed, what are your thoughts of Professional Fighters League and its season format with that $1 million prize for each champion? Quite different from any other combat sports organizations.
That's what really made me fall in love with it, because it brought me back to my football days, because we played football so long. So when the way that it's structured, when we have the regular season, playoff, championship format, it helps kind of put my mind into a competitive standpoint, and it helps me really hone in on what I have to do.
Did you ever think of playing in the NFL?
I definitely thought of playing in the NFL. I thought that's where I was going to be right now, But as you know, this life that we live is not always what we want, but not always what we think. So we have to really flow through life and do what we have to do to survive. And this basically just fell into my lap. It was just perfect timing, and everything just happened so organic.
Well, speaking of football, and I don't know much then. I don't know anything about your football background. And I know sometimes it's hard for someone to say how good they were. But as far as high school level, did you play high school football then? Did you have any college offers?
Yes, I did. I played high school football in Texas, as you know how Texas is.
Oh my God, yes, Texas, South Florida too. But Texas is huge with high school football.
Yes, and so that was our life growing up. And then I had a couple college offers, and I ended up ultimately committing to the University of Arizona, and I played there. I ultimately committed actually to the University of Houston. My first year of college, I played there as a true freshman before I ended up transferring and finishing out my college career at the University of Arizona.
And then if you could just take me through what happened between Arizona and, did you have any tryouts afterwards? Open tryouts, even CFL?
I had a couple tryouts, and the political side of the game, took a fall, and then I ended up going overseas actually and playing in NFL Europe. I went over there and played in Sweden for about 8 months, and I lived out there in Sweden, and I loved it out there. I got import player of the year out there, and I thought I was going to come back and be ready to make an NFL run, but it didn't happen how I was supposed to. And then I ended up having a son at that time, and that's why I felt like all roads just basically led to fighting.
Well, gee, I'm going a little bit off topic for what I was going to ask, but I'll come back to that. But I'll finish it up with this part of it with the football. When you see a league like the XFL forming and someone like The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and his business associate Danny Garcia and Hiram Garcia and that whole group getting involved in the XFL, did that bring any thoughts to you of, hey, maybe I'll try XFL?
No, it did not. The reason I say that is because I really devoted a lot to football growing up because it was all I knew, what I was good at. But once I converted to fighting, that became my life. So I didn't look at nothing else. Football didn't matter no more. Football was good when it was, but fighting is what I want to do now, and it's my passion.
Were you all state in football?
Yes, I was.
Good for you, especially in Texas. That's saying a lot with that. I'm guessing you were a defensive lineman?
Yes, sir. I was defensive end.
Defensive end, going after that quarterback. Sack that quarterback.
Yeah, that's all I do.
Now you could sack the fighters. That is awesome. That's so interesting with that. I will ask one more football question and then we'll move on. Was it hard at first hanging up the cleats?
Oh man, yes it was. I gave so much of my life to football. It was extremely hard hanging up the cleats. But ultimately I knew I made the right decision in my heart.
Hey, were you a big Dallas Cowboys fan?
I've never really been a big Dallas Cowboys fan, but I lived in Dallas, so it's almost like you just support the local team, So I always wanted to protest for them, So it definitely breaks my heart when I see them going down this path.
Okay, so PFL decided to cancel the 2020 season, obviously because of COVID. Their focus is on April 2021. What are your thoughts of PFL taking that stand and doing that?
Trust me, a lot of people out there of course they have reservations because ultimately they have to feed their families, and vice versa with me as well. So I understand a lot of frustrations, but the PFL wants to do what was safe for the fighters' families, and ultimately I definitely agree with their decision. And it's hard to stay tough in a time like this, but they did, and that's why I stayed tough as well with them.
What can you say about Titan FC and Lex McMahon and that company that you've been fighting for?
They're exceptional. All I can say is Titan FC, for any of those young fighters that are building up, trying to get a name for themselves, and they come into the forefront of the sport. Titan FC is a great platform, it's just a really good pipeline to the UFC, to any organization, because they do such a great job of marketing their fighters, pushing their fighters out there, and getting them known.
And Titan FC, many fights in South Florida, actually relocated the company to South Florida and doing a tremendous job there. Are you still able to fight with them, or are you totally 100% now with PFL? PFL, that's why they've been so exceptional, because they really work with me. Because at the end of the day, with all this stuff going on, who doesn't want to fight, So we reached out to them, Brian Butler, my manager, and him and Lex and the PFL ultimately got it done and let me go fight the Titans. But at this point now, the way I'm feeling, I'm completely locked in and focused on getting ready for the season. And yes, that'll be it for Titan FC. Mohammed the Motor Usman, where did you get the nickname the Motor?
I actually got that nickname from my coaches playing football, because I guess my engines never stop.
It's always revving, always ready to go, ready to get the battle going, get him down and win.
Yes,
Hey,
sir. Yes, sir.
where do you live now? Are you in South Florida or elsewhere?
I'm in. I go back and forth there with my brother in South Florida, but so I'm kind of a nomad. But I'm in Dallas. I'm in Dallas, Texas, and then I go back and forth to Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Do you train it all here as well then at Sanford MMA or no?
No, I don't train at Sanford. I really just train with my brother. We'll go over to George's gym. My brother has, he has his little spot that he's been doing this for a long time. So he has his little all his little places that he goes to. So I just love to come out there and jump into training with him.
What's it like doing that? I mean, for someone that doesn't know, I mean, anyone in MMA knows how successful your brother has been, but for others that just don't know too much about MMA, just being able to do that and be able to go out there and train with him and work out and do those types of things, how much of an advantage does that give you to have that resource available?
Oh, I think it gives me. I'm very, very blessed, and I don't take it for granted at all. That's what I've been blessed with, and that's why I push myself and I demand so much of myself, because I don't take anything for granted with what I've been blessed with. I'm really very, very grateful, and for the knowledge and just everything that I've been blessed with to be able to soak up in the sport of MMA.
Yeah, you told me you went to University of Houston and then you did transfer to Arizona?
Yeah.
Now, at Arizona, did you have any thoughts? And I know football was your number one, but did you have any thoughts of being a heavyweight wrestler?
I actually never had any thoughts of being a heavyweight wrestler. They actually, it's a funny story. The WWE actually flew me out to the Performance Training Center in Orlando for the tryout, and they gave me, and that was the option. But I rather not. I couldn't do that. My head hurt. I rather have gotten hit for real than fake it.
Man, I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to ask you a little bit about WWE. I didn't know that story. What was that training center like and the physicality? Because listen, hey, we know MMA and pro wrestling, two totally different things. Look, in MMA, you're trying to hurt your opponent to win. In pro wrestling, you're trying to protect your opponent but make it look good. So what was it like just going through the conditioning and the athletic process that they go through? Because you have to be athletic.
Yes, I'm not going to lie to you, that was very tedious. Because they really were just trying to see, it's almost like they were just trying to break the athlete. They wanted to see who was going to break. It was just 3 days of nonstop squats, running, jumping. It was one of those where it's just like, it's so hard. And I have so much respect for wrestlers because what they do is incredible. Because they put their bodies at risk, just doing everything. And people think that stuff is fake that they're doing, but it's not. It's scripted, I give them that, but nothing is fake, what you see. They slam themselves, they jump, they run. That's why I said I'd rather do the real thing.
Hey, Mohammed, were you a fan growing up?
I actually was. I loved The Undertaker. We used to sit on Sundays and watch WrestleMania and SummerSlam. We used to watch all of that with our dad. Me and my two older brothers.
Did you ever go to a show live?
Oh, I did. I actually went to NXT show when I went to the tryout. Actually, in Orlando, they had a show, like they had a taping. So I went to a show live, and I actually enjoyed it.
It is so much fun live. Watching it on TV is cool, but it's so much fun just being there with that. And you mentioned The Undertaker, and I don't know if you know this. Undertaker is a huge MMA fan.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
That's something to maybe to keep under your hat somewhere. Who knows? Maybe one of these days coming up, you can have Undertaker when all this COVID goes away, hopefully. You can have Undertaker maybe walk you to the ring or at least be there at a match.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I would love to have that. That'd be a blessing if Undertaker can walk me to the ring. Because I used to just love the way his entrances are epic.
There are certain ones that you watch, and we'll end it with this, but there are certain ones you watch, like you mentioned, The Undertaker. Having the lights go off, that music sound like that, and have him come out like he does, the theatrics that go into that are just so entertaining. And I'm wondering, as an MMA fighter now, will you bring that element? Will you put some theatrics into your entrances, the music, things like that?
I totally will, and that's what I love about the sport, because as you keep climbing and you keep progressing in the sport, people really start getting to see who you really are. You know, as a person, as a human being, as an athlete. So I really just take a step at a time and just keep building up my record and my name until I get to the level where everybody will know what I do, and everybody will know that, okay, this guy's here and he's for real.
And you are for real. 7-1 so far, heavyweight division. You're taking that next step. And hey, I mean, Mohammed the Motor Usman, but I'm wondering, Mohammed the Undertaker Usman.
That sounds pretty awesome too, bro.
Right? That's what you can do. I know you're not supposed to give nicknames. I learned this. You're not supposed to give nicknames to yourself. But hey, why not?
Why not?
All right. Well, a few more questions. We'll wrap it up and get you out of here. And thank you for the time. Hey, you went to Arizona to finish up. Did you get your degree?
Yes, I did.
What did you get your degree in?
I got a general studies degree. I got my bachelor's in general studies, and it was kind of a broad degree because I was trying to actually get ready for the NFL. So we kind of compiled all the credits, and they compiled them together to kind of basically find the best fit for me. And so that's when we came up. They went ahead and came up with a general studies degree for me to be able to finish my college career.
Well, you had an awesome upbringing. And what are your parents, and how important was it for you to get that degree? And how important was education to you and your family?
It was huge to get the degree because my mom and my dad, that was their number one thing, was always your education. You know, if you don't have a degree, don't come home. So that the degree is what really helped everything, and helped football, and I'm very grateful that I was able to grab that.
So now is the main goal, New Year's Eve, Madison Square Garden. By the way, that's a huge, Undertaker made a name for himself at Madison Square Garden. But New Year's Eve, Madison Square Garden, heavyweight division. Mohammed the Motor Usman winning before the stroke of midnight, getting that $1 million check and that title belt.
Yes, sir. I'm visualizing that belt wrapped around my waist and that $1 million check going home with me to my family.
That is awesome. So, hey, tell us about your social media, and I'll wrap it up with one final question.
Yes, everybody can go ahead and follow me at U Muhammad. It's just the letter U, and then Muhammad spelled out 97.
Now, you mentioned WWE. I'm going to throw it back that way, okay, because you mentioned it. Lillian Garcia is the cage announcer for PFL, and she was a longtime ring announcer for WWE. I'm wondering if you have met Lillian, have worked with her yet. She's also doing shows for PFL on their social media and their YouTube and all. And I'm wondering, have you talked to her yet?
Oh, yeah. I had an awesome conversation. She's a beautiful soul. And I can't wait to finally meet her in person. But we had a great conversation. We laughed all day because I did the Hot Point show with her.
Did you tell her about Undertaker and WWE?
We didn't even go into that avenue of it. But yes, I would have loved to tell her. And at least I didn't tell her. I didn't put all my beans out. So me and her had something else to talk about. Yeah,
the next time you can talk about that, and I'm sure she'll give you some good stories of her own dealing with them. I think 15 years she was with them, 2 separate runs that she was the ring announcer. She also is a great singer. She has Spanish and English. She is multi-talented. Now she's doing her show, like you said. She has her own podcast, Chasing Glory, which is available on WWE Network. I know this isn't about Lillian. This is about you. But maybe you could also go on Chasing Glory. That would be really cool, too, because she has her friend wrestlers on, singers, MMA fighters. Just a really cool show, and she's a really cool lady.
Yeah, she is. She's such an awesome soul, and I'm very blessed to just know her.
Okay, Mohammed, anything else you'd just like to throw out there? We'll wrap it up with that.
No, man. I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful for the opportunity to just be alive on this earth and being able to pursue my dreams. And I just, tell anybody that whatever you want to do in life, you can do it. Just pursue it.
Hey, in crazy times with the election, I don't think we're going to know who actually won for another few days, maybe longer.
I don't even want to get into that.
Oh my God, no, we'll save that for another time. But it's just been a crazy time the last couple. I've between researching you, talking with the PFL reps, and then checking the Google and the AP just to see what's going on. It's like, when is it going to end? But listen, hey, all the best to you, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and I really, really appreciate it, and look forward to doing this again.